I don't know why I made that noise. All right. You're about to listen to a podcast full of wonder, excitement, and discovery. It's time for an adventure through Odyssey. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Adventure Through Odyssey podcast, Odyssey Revisited. I'm Will here with John, and 3 months after we recorded it the first time, we're finally re-recording episodes 110 through 115.
So, it may be a shorter episode.
Yes.
Because...
Yeah. So we're starting off with A is for attitude. Connie is convinced that having a positive attitude will enable her to overcome any problem.
So, what I remember of our previous discussion, which we'll go into castles and cauldrons, is it seems like a very, 80s sort of, let's go against this popular trend. Or, this is an issue of, people thinking solely through positive attitude you can solve things.
Yes.
It's definitely one that feels like it doesn't hold up as well, because you're well, wait, is it so bad to have, a positive attitude about things?
I mean, I don't think so. I think what would help this episode is Connie had aced one test using it, or seemingly aced one test using it, and then got cocky about it.
Right, if she had studied real hard, and then the next day, but then, the night was yeah, let me try to be positive, and she's I was positive and I did it. But, didn't you also study for it?
Right, exactly.
Right. That would have helped. I mean, the episode gets real dark real quick.
Yes, the kid trying to jump off the train or climbing the train trestle, not jumping off the train trestle.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
It was crossing them, right? To
yes.
get quicker to school or something.
Yeah, so that's the only weird thing to me. And I know this is probably a small town thing. I cannot believe there are apparently so many kids in Odyssey who walk to school by crossing over an active train track.
Yeah, I mean, Odyssey and the train trestles have always seemed to be pretty, bad. I mean, remember in later albums, that's where, that kid died?
Yes.
I mean, right, it seems, really dangerous, and they need to, put up...
Right, the implication to me at the end of the episode is, don't do this, kids, but they say earlier, all the kids are doing it, so...
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Yes.
It's just, yeah, I don't know. I guess it would scare kids away from doing it, but in context of Odyssey, it seems weird. But yeah, I mean, I would assume, because it's just such a weird episode, because maybe there's people today that wouldn't say, you shouldn't be positive, try to be positive about things. But it does seem really a product of its time.
Yes.
I don't think it's a bad episode in and of itself, honestly.
I would agree.
It's just kind of it seems like a lot. It's just a lot.
John, you gotta have a more positive attitude about it.
Well, I'm not supposed to.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I should have re-listened to the Chris wraparound. I don't know if they ever quite landed on you should have a positive attitude, but that's not what's going to carry you through.
Yeah.
Because people could probably use this episode to talk about being a narcissist. I almost said narcissist. Anti-positive person.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on. Oh, crap, I just skipped over an episode. First Love. Connie falls in love with Jeff Lewis, who is not a Christian.
Oh, Jeff.
I know.
Man, I mean, we've talked about Jeff Lewis on this show before. I mean, to bring him back 20 years later and then just have him vanish...
Yes.
After it seemed like they were maybe setting him and Connie to be together...
Yes.
Just brutal.
Oh, yeah.
Brutal. I mean, I always thought this episode is good. I mean, it actually, I think, is... I think if you found, the Odyssey, character manual, this episode probably would be listed as, a foundational building block for Connie.
I fully agree. It is certainly a very heavy episode. Every time I re-listen to it, I think, oh, right, this is pretty... straightforward and serious about what it is.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. Oh, also, how long is Connie's mom gone? Because they make it sound like the relationship lasts at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's pretty vague. Well, it's also weird because Connie's mom's not a Christian at this point.
No, she is not.
So it's kind of a weird...
It actually, maybe a slightly more interesting dynamic for this episode would have been Wit's pulling Connie in one direction, but Connie's mom doesn't see what the big deal is.
Yeah.
Just... something.
Yeah, I think that would have been effective. Yeah, it's good. I mean, you feel bad for Connie.
Yes.
I mean, you feel bad for all of Connie's relationships at this point in time.
That is true.
Especially at, like, in Odyssey. You'd have to think there's some eligible Christian men. Like, what about all these people at her church?
I know. Maybe they're all married.
Maybe, but it's a good episode. It's almost soured by the fact they brought him back and then just didn't use him.
Well, clearly when they introduced him, he was supposed to be, hey, he's the reason we're going on mission trips. He's going to show up in a few of the missions episodes just to keep him around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that the last episode is Connie's bully comes back and is clearly still salty. Jeff Lewis was never not in love with Connie.
Yeah, it's so... And even the ending's, like, kind of almost teasing stuff.
Yes.
So, I mean, I guess here's the thing. They could bring him back almost at any time and be like, yeah, I just got done with, like, a 3-year mission stint.
Because I'm a Mormon now.
Okay.
Just saying.
What? Stop. Normal Christians go...
Yes, I know. But yes, that is definitely something they could do. I'm still kind of... What if they brought him back on a comic?
I actually don't think... I mean, they may bring him back in a comic, but... It's the ambiguity of what's going on with Connie's relationship. I think they either need to commit to, like, an episode about Christian singleness and the benefits that can come to that, or say, like, I'm getting with Jeff Lewis. Like, even if it's something dumb, like, I've been writing Jeff Lewis as he's been on the mission field.
I kind of agree.
Or is that gonna be... No, this sounds really bad. But, like, if Katie Lee dies...
Yes.
Are they gonna, like, have Connie, like, go to the mission field?
Maybe. Or she'll join Mitch or something.
I don't think that. It's just, like, now with Eugene, I don't think they want to have any of the main trio die.
Yes.
I think Tom was a one-off case.
Yeah.
Which is also weird, because I feel like they did that to have this Timothy Center, like, new Timothy Center be a big new locale for Odyssey, and they just never used it.
Can we just say it? Odyssey has a very bad track record of introducing new locations and never using them.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, let's be honest, what's the last new location that stuck?
Penny's house? Penny and Wooten's house?
Yeah, I don't even know if that... Yes, you're probably right.
The dump yard, kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really used anymore, but there was a period they were... It sometimes...
They were at the dump quite a bit. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, outside of, like, characters' houses, which are kind of amorphous.
Yes. Alright, so... Maybe they'll bring him back. Maybe they'll bring him back on a comic where he and Mitch fight for Connie's love because Mitch's wife passed away or something.
Yeah.
That's the only problem. If Mitch ever comes back and is after Connie, they're going to have to do the really dark thing of his wife dying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they can do the Mitch thing. That's my problem, is they need to do... Unless they introduce someone really quickly, it either has to be Jeff Lewis or, like, Jason or something.
Yes.
Because I don't think a Connie Love arc can be the same length as the Mitch arc was.
I agree.
Which was so weird.
Yes. I would also say, back to the episode for a second, this is one of the few episodes where we actually kind of get to see Connie in school.
Yeah.
I know she graduates kind of early on, but it does kind of feel like, oh, this is mostly an episode centered around Connie and her school friends, and maybe they were not do a spin-off show, but like, hey, can we spin into more episodes about this?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, who knows?
I want to say, I'm not saying, it's just curious with Odyssey, like Wit, they're just going to recast. This is a weird thing with, like, recasting people and who they don't recast, because they made it clear they're just always going to recast Wit.
Yes.
And then there's other characters who will just, like, phase off the show.
Yeah. That is true. Although, you said it was curious. That's our next episode. Yeah. Curious, isn't it? Ben and Esther become convinced Wit is getting married.
Man, I mean, such a weird episode, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's a decent way to say, like, don't let your imaginations get away with you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, like, right, why didn't any of these adults ask?
Why didn't Tom know?
Well, it's weird, especially because...
Tom was out of town, never mind.
Well... Yeah, you're
right. The whole point is Tom is out of town because he would definitely know the situation with Wit.
It feels weird, though, because why would they assume, oh, he's proposing tonight? Because what if he wasn't proposing?
Right.
I do always love this. At the end, when he's like, my story!
Yes, that
Dale
is...
Jacobs runs out of...
Dale, don't worry! There's a gallery upstairs. You can talk to one of the paintings. But yeah, no, that is great, but... So this is, again, another facet of Odyssey, especially in the early years. Sometimes they're kind of a mid-sized small town, but sometimes they're a town so small, the ice cream shop owner getting married is front-page news.
Yeah, it's weird because sometimes they act odd. Like, and I think probably as time's gone on, Odyssey's gotten progressively bigger as a town.
Yes.
Because it does feel like, especially here, like, oh, everyone knows Wits helps everyone. And in other ones, it seems like Odyssey just is like bigger now, and like it's just like a portion of people who know Wit and like interact.
I mean, that's very possible. Maybe some gentrification has occurred.
Stop.
What?
Stop, please.
Okay. No, but I do think you're right, because Connellsville, maybe, I kind of always assumed Connellsville's maybe a slightly bigger city, and Odyssey's just kind of grown from that.
Yeah.
That, again, that's my guess. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
So, but I think this is a fine comedy of errors episode.
Yeah.
I do think it gets a little weird when you get the adults involved. Like, I think the episode today would be Maury, Susu getting Emily involved because they see Wit doing something weird.
Yeah, I think the kid stuff is all pretty good.
Yes, I think that's the thing. The kids, need to learn their lesson. It's kind of like, how stupid are these adults? I shouldn't say that, but...
Yeah, but it is a little bit like, you get all these people...
Yes, and no one is like, hey, is this what's going on?
Well, I guess it's Eugene, Wit, and Bernard.
Eugene, Connie,
and Bernard that get wrapped up and then call people about it.
Yeah, so...
But still, you'd think one of them would be like...
You'd think somebody would say, Wit's been in a secret relationship?
Yeah, exactly.
So, anyway, but yeah. Alright, moving on. Suspicious Minds. Money mysteriously disappears from the cash register at Wit's End. Connie and Eugene are determined to find the perpetrator.
I always think this is a real good episode.
Yes.
Real good comedy on both sides.
Yes.
Connie with the grease paint.
Yes.
Eugene and the electrified...
the electrified cash register.
But I actually think it hits pretty well at the end.
Yes.
Like, they're like, you guys are acting ridiculous, and like Wit's like, I'm mad about it.
Right. Yeah, so I would say the conclusion of the money falling out of the drawer doesn't make sense, because has the register just been open the entire time, and...
Do you not know what... It's not that it fell out, it's that it fell behind.
Right, that's what I mean, that it stuck behind there, and after 3 or 4 days of them trying to find it, no one noticed the cash register wasn't closing properly.
Probably it was this, is that as more and more money got stuck back there, it just became harder and harder to close it properly.
Well, that's very possible.
If I had to guess.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's like, yeah, that's a pretty simple solution. That maybe they all should have thought, like, oh, is anything back there?
Exactly. And this is also a very quaint moment of Connie saying she's going to buy a brand new 1967 Ford. Unless Odyssey is set in the past, I'm sure she meant used. But, the fact that in 1990...
I think it's a brand new used 1967 Ford.
Okay. But the fact that in 1990, a 23-year-old car could still be considered drivable is kind of impressive.
Cars were slightly better built back then.
Now, someone might be driving a 23-year-old car. I'm saying I don't know if we could go to a used car lot today and find a 23-year-old car that would run.
Well, if it's on a car lot, it probably would run.
Okay. I don't know how car lots work.
Yeah, Will buys his cars online.
Okay, be quiet. Carvana, the sponsor of this podcast.
You bought your other car. You bought your current car online.
Yes, I know. Yes. All right. Speaking of sponsors, we'll be right back. Wow, John, wasn't that a great ad for McDonald's new slushies?
I don't know. I don't know what the ad was.
Well, we're enjoying a McDonald's Hawaiian Punch slushie right now.
You're not sponsored by McDonald's.
Well, McDonald's runs ads on our show.
Well, yeah. So maybe we are, but like, we don't know if we are or not.
It's that time of year. They usually run the slushie ads.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. No, you're right. This is a good mystery episode. I know it was included in the mystery pack we had as a kid.
Was it?
Yes.
Check that fact. I do not think that is true.
That suspicious mind wasn't in a maze of mysteries.
Okay, live fact check.
What? I'm waiting for you to check.
Sorry, I have a game up on my computer. I have to do it on my phone. We can edit some of this out.
Yes. So,
Maze of Mysteries.
I feel like this is also the first episode while he's looking that up where they don't figure out Bernard, but they realize what Bernard's dynamic in the group is.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's loading. Okay. Episodes. You were right.
Oh!
Look, I remember listening to that a lot, and I don't remember it. Maybe we lost the disc for that one or something.
I mean, that's possible, but
yeah,
I'm just glad to know I was right. Anyway, the big broadcast. Tom and Whit premiere a new kind of kids radio program. Now, I think it's a little weird to call it a new kind of kids radio program when we only ever had one kids radio episode. It's not like a big reboot or anything, but I like that they kind of used this opportunity to do parodies of the old radio shows the writers probably grew up listening to.
Yeah, I think good episode. I mean, it's what were the three big? It's been a while since I re-listened to
It
this.
was the quiz show, a Bible story, and something else. Yeah, the game show, the mystery on the road to Jericho. I think that was it.
Okay. No, it's very good. I mean, also canonically important episode with Lucy Cunningham Schultz.
Yes. Well, here's the only thing, though. Jimmy says in that episode, her last name is Schultz.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, it's almost like... Who wrote this episode?
Let's find out. It was written by Paul McCusker.
Okay, right. I've always found this weird. Like, they talk about, like, oh, what's the deal with Lucy's last name? I wonder if they intended this to be a thing that they just never, like, followed up on.
Right, like
for a long time.
Right, it could be like a stage name thing.
Right, exactly. It's weird because Jimmy comments her last name is Schultz.
Right, so that actually kind of, they still should have made the truth about Zachary because it's a touching episode, but I feel like the fact that they always act like they wrote that episode to explain it.
Right, it's like someone wrote that joke, and then the next episode they're like, oh, which is it? And, like, Paul McCusker wasn't there. And then they suddenly go, like, Lucy. And then the next one they call her Lucy Cunningham Schultz.
Right.
Like, they couldn't have just said it was a stage name. I mean, they could have explained by being like, oh, I heard your name was Schultz on the radio. And it's like, that was a stage name.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be so easy to, like, get rid of that. Where it is weird, like, was this intentional from the beginning?
Exactly. Yeah, and so one thing about this episode that I wish they would have kept doing in the kids' radio episodes is it's a little lower quality in terms of it sounds a little staticky like you're listening to it on an old radio.
Yeah.
My guess is, like, actual radio stations were either getting calling complaints or they were so low quality in certain areas people couldn't hear parts of the episode.
Yeah.
So, but actually, that'd be a great feature on the club if you could put, like, a radio filter over the episode so there's a little bit of static.
Yeah.
Just a thought. Anyway. An act of mercy. After Tom forgives Rodney for breaking a fence and stealing apples, Rodney does not pass on that forgiving spirit.
I mean, we've talked about this.
Yes.
Episode in almost the same way before.
Yes, we have.
First appearance of Bart, right?
Yes, first appearance of Bart.
Who was called Bill.
Yes, which I still think might be because it was Bill in the original episode and they just didn't change the line.
I think that is. I think I've heard people say that's probably what it was.
Okay.
It's a fine episode. It was fine the first time.
Yes.
I think they probably realized this was like a pretty good episode. Like kind of a pretty good, because I mean, it's kind of late to have their like, we are recreating a biblical story episodes.
Yeah.
Like those seem like those happened near the beginning and they get less and less.
Yeah, I agree.
Throughout the things. I think this is a good episode. And, like, right, they were like, we gotta make sure it works.
Yeah, no, I thought that was good. You're right. I can only remember one other recreation of a biblical story episode, and it's the Jimmy cleaning the theater episode.
Well, I thought we were talking, and there's like stuff where maybe I'm thinking wrong of like some other stuff that came up, or like things I don't know. Maybe I'm just going insane.
That's very possible. But
yeah, it is very possible.
No, I think it's a good episode. I always wonder why Rodney's voice changes halfway through, and then changes back.
It could literally just be they recorded the first bit. He started hitting puberty, which was fine for that character.
Well, no, because
they hit it right, but then they had to come back for reshoots.
Well, the only thing is, the dude who voices Rodney was an adult when they recorded it, and that's Mitch. So
it could just be that they were like they wanted it to sound a certain way.
Right. I wonder. At first, for years, I thought maybe they just took the part from the Harley episode and reused it, but that's not it. So maybe they thought, maybe Rodney's voice will change when he's being intimidating.
Yeah, that might be it.
So that could be a thing. If anyone who worked on that episode knows the answer, please contact us because it's nowhere online. All right, that wraps it up for this week.
Sorry if this was a little short, but we've already talked about this in a lost episode.
Yeah. Now, if you're listening to this episode a few years down the road, I'll put it back in the right order with everything else. But now, for launch time, it'll be at the top. So the next episode released will be Castles and Cauldrons.
With the other stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the episodes following that. So we'll see you then. I'm Will.
I'm John.
We'll see you next time.